Yeah. So adapting the source material is just like a double-edged sword. It's like when you're adapting something, like you have to decide what you want to keep and what is like relevant to the story.
Yeah.
But also you want to keep some stuff that like makes the story unique and different, which is what they did, I guess, like editing wise, because you had a lot of like just animated like movements in the film that come from the comic. Like the comics kind of got a video game vibe to it,
Yeah.
and like an arcade style vibe, and it's very fun just reading it.
And
Um,
this is before even we got Ready Player One or Pixels or what's that Ryan Reynolds one? Is it Guy? Free Guy? I think.
free guy,
Yeah.
yeah, free
And I
guy.
mean, so like this kind of popularized that genre, though. I think Ready Player One as a book was already out
Yeah,
before
Ready
this.
Player One is more like a dystopian future kind of book. It's a lot more grim than the movie made it out
Yeah,
to be.
but they share the common theme where like the way how I guess in the comic that it's very video game esque. It's for that video game probably subculture of fans that also like the slice of life animes. Am I hitting somewhere there? Is it
I
something
mean,
like that?
Ready Player One definitely had more of a video game vibe
Mm-hmm.
that was like not, I guess, present more in the book. Like in the book, you still kind of like got to experience the Oasis. But we're getting off topic. We're Scott Pilgrim. It's more of a it's comic booky. Like you get stuff like when Ramona and Scott first meet, he said, "You were like skating through my dreams," and she's like, "Oh yeah, I use that highway because it's shorter, going back and forth." And like that's an actual thing in the comic
Yeah,
that like didn't actually see it like actually come into the movie, but like they use it in the comic all the time. Like you open a door and you like jump
it's
into this
the in
like oh
space or something like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
and you like
Thank
can
you,
like
YouTube.
travel between distances and stuff, like short distances,
Yeah.
and they play it off as like a little flirty joke, but like it's a real thing in the comic, and obviously some things like that you can't really adapt and fully explain.
Maybe if
So
it was
that's
for a TV show, maybe.
yeah,
But yeah,
like
because like
an
the
upcoming
editing
TV
makes it
show.
seem like it's a dream. Like Michael or Scott in the movie felt more like I have my mind on her to deliver this package for me, and quite literally, it was so on his mind that it felt more like
Yeah,
he dreamt it as she came through, and then what's the next day? She's there with the package. So
yeah,
yeah, I like that the comics kind of more explain that because I've seen like some of the photos of it, and it's all like I know comics that do that kind of thing where sometimes like if they just want you to focus on a character's action, they don't really they only have like maybe like a gradient color or like a single color in the background. I forgot
yeah.
what's that technically called in comic book terms and everything.
Ooh,
But it's kind of nice that for the book, yeah, in spacing, he kind of the creator has like an actual like no, there's like a reason why there's like minimalist in the background. It's like it's something there. That's from my understanding at least.
yeah.
You know.
And like another point is like condensing like the story you're presented with. He has to defeat 7 evil exes in the film, and he does this in like a week time span, right? In the book, he and Ramona date for like a whole year before like reaching the end of the story,
Okay.
and you get like a lot more details of like Ramona interacting with the rest of the friends and like them like doing boyfriend girlfriend stuff, and it's introducing the evil exes a lot at a lot slower pace, and like each point is kind of like a reflection of like Scott and Ramona's past.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just them dealing with their issues,
It's more character
and
development.
yeah, it's a lot more. It's a lot like better character development, a lot more room to breathe, and that's kind of what like I wish the movie had. But like
Mm-hmm.
also the movie's pacing is incredible, and it's very entertaining and fun. So it's just like one of those you can't have
The,
both. It's a double edged sword.
the but see the thing is though is like what I found with the film's pacing is because you know it's also it's a musical. It's not just like a rom com, comic book, video game subgenre thing, but it's also like a musical. There's so many different genres with this film, which I think is what also makes it so amazing. But yeah, like the pacing of it really goes well with the movie's music.
Yeah.
Like these are a garage band like rock group. You know, so like I kind of get like a lot of the um maybe a little bit of grunge from like the late 80s early 90s, but maybe a little bit more kind of past
Talking
that.
like this, something like that. I don't
That's that. What
know.
have you ever listened to Nirvana and
Yeah.
he does not sound nothing like
Uh,
that.
it sounds exactly like
No, it doesn't. God, Kurt Cobain is like turning in his fucking grave.
that.
But yeah, like you know, like it's like it's like that amped up. It's like a mix of punk rock with garage rock, and yeah, like you could just tell, like not even just in the Battle of the Bands segments, but just like sequence wise, it feels like the as much as the story is, you know, drives like her characters like fast pace. You said that Ramona and Scott dated for a year, and within that year aspect, that's where we fight the exes, and
Yeah.
condensed to like I guess one whole week. Yeah, like it kind of makes sense that maybe the music came more at the forefront of like pacing. As fast as the music's going, that's as fast as the story's going. Um,
And it's also like the development of the side characters too, like because he's developing with
yeah,
the band, and the band is progressively becoming more and more successful, and they kind of find out how like one of the X's is behind that,
yeah,
and with the source material, it's kind of the opposite. Like happens, like the band doesn't like find success, and it's not really interwoven with the whole story like it is with the movie,
well, the
which is
final
something the
book
movie.
came out after the
Yeah.
movie did. It
Oh yeah, it did.
yeah,
Yeah.
because in the video that I watched, they sat there and said that the author took inspiration from the movie's climax and kind of did something similar like that and everything, where they had it where apparently Scott thought that he was like, I guess like the whole band was going to stay together, and that you know, what's his name, the leader of the group. It's not Scott, but it's
Uh, the actual like lead singer,
the lead guitarist and lead singer. Yeah, because he's more like the leader of the band.
Steven Stills.
Yeah, he ends up pretty much kind of revealing that he's like starting another band without Scott, and uh, which I was all like, oh, that fucking sucks. But yeah,
Yeah.
he like you could definitely tell like in the movie, like the higher that the band got in popularity, mostly due to the final Evil X, like the more that like Scott was completely removed from the band to begin with. So like yeah, I guess you could kind of sit there and see like, oh, I kind of like how like the author, instead of just doing what Edgar Wright and him penned, that like he's like, oh, I can do that ending and make it better. Uh,
Yeah.
and
Because there are
from what
definitely
I've told,
like
it's yeah, it's better.
it's there are aspects of it because like that he obviously borrows. Like you'll read it and you'll see a lot of like uh what is it, familiar imagery.
Mm-hmm.
And
Like, oh, I've been here before. I know
yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
like you've gone down the same route, and because it's he still has the final battle, but like the way he fights Gideon and like how Ramona frees herself from Gideon is different, and I feel like it kind of an improvement because
do you think that the
in
comic did it far better than what the movie did?
uh I don't think
At
it's
least ending
better.
wise, like
I
wrapping
guess
up
like
the ending.
yeah, wrapping up the ending, it's a lot better like tied up, I
Okay.
guess, in the comic in some ways. It's just they're both. I love both endings, and just like I think the movie did a great job of like condensing it all together and like building on everyone's storyline and
Yeah,
having Scott come to the realization of like what his actions and his lack of taking responsibility does to people,
yeah.
and it's it'll we'll talk about the final I guess speech at the end here.